circle.
The count is a ball and 2 strikes to Dunn. She's followed in the order today by Jalen Davis and then DeShante Smith. The middle of the order for Valley features Jade Arroyo, Jewel Unga, and Dejanay Gage. Chopper to second. Quick throw from Heimberger is there in time, and Dunn is retired 4-3 for the first out. The last 3 hitters in the lineup today for Valley features Jodicea Afuatua, Kaylin Peterson, and Eleni Terrones. So Dunn, Davis, Smith, then Arroyo, Unga, Gage, Afuatua, Peterson, Terrones. That is your starting batting order 1 through 9 for Mississippi Valley State. The first right-handed bat in the lineup up there right now for the Devilettes, facing Dennis. Davis, the center fielder, only a freshman for Valley, has the count even right now, 1-1.
Davis leading the team in batting average, batting .429 on the season so far. So pretty nice stat right there.
For a freshman especially.
Yeah, for a freshman leading the team.
She's facing the veteran pitcher Dennis, who is 2-0 on the year, ERA of 1.66. Making her 4th start of the season, just her 6th appearance overall. Morgan, you mentioned we haven't seen her in the circle much recently for Mississippi State. But when she has been in the circle, she's been very effective.
Yeah, Dennis is a player that can pitch. She's also a strong hitter from the left side and can play some outfield too for the Bulldogs.
Chopper foul off the top of the dugout, third base side. Count is full, 3-2. 13 innings thrown on the year by Dennis. Has allowed only 3 earned runs and 11 hits. She issues a walk to Davis, and that will give Valley a Salazar. We'll have more on her after this short break. Emily Heimberger leads off the bottom of the first for Mississippi State. And she takes ball one from Salazar, the starting pitcher for Valley. We mentioned earlier, pitching has been an issue for Valley this year. Case in point, Salazar, the right-hander, making her fourth start of the season and seventh appearance, has an ERA of 14.16 and an 0-3 record.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to really get a rhythm out in the circle. There's a lot of Valley pitchers who have multiple innings pitched, so they really haven't found that ace pitcher, go-to pitcher yet. So sometimes it's just hard to get in that rhythm.
Alejandra Salazar, a senior from Houston, Texas, transferred over from Jarvis Christian College, a veteran right-hander. Delivers a nice pitch in there for a strike to Heimberger. With Heimberger taking all the way, the count is 3-1. Overcast Friday afternoon. Lights are already on despite it only being 12 minutes after the 4 o'clock hour. That ball's high. Heimberger will draw a leadoff walk, and you got to think, Morgan, at least part of the game plan coming in is you look at some of the struggles the Valley pitchers have had. I would imagine most state hitters are going to force Salazar to throw strikes.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be very selective in the box. Look for a pitch that they can drive hard to the right side and be on time with. So not a surprise at all there to see a walk drawn by Emily Heimberger.
A really good base runner. Heimberger takes off immediately. Good throw from the catcher, but still not quite good enough to catch Heimberger. And Heimberger immediately will steal second on the very first pitch to Mia Davidson. Unga, the catcher, I thought got a pretty quick release on that, but Heimberger's just too fast. 1-0 the count now to Davidson. Strike on the outside corner, and the count evens up. That is the 7th stolen base for Heimberger. I believe that leads the team here in 2019.
Yes.
Off-speed pitch. Davidson hits it hard. Fairly deep to left center, back, and off the base of the wall. Heimberger had to wait. Now she's running, and she will score from second base. 1-0, Bulldogs on top.
That was a great ball right there by Davidson. I don't think she could have placed it more perfectly to land right in front of the fence right there. That was a interesting placement right there by Davidson, but great job getting the RBI.
The center fielder, Davis, got to the wall, I thought, in time, but then wasn't quite sure if that ball was going to leave the yard or if she should jump. And like you said, it just landed right there at the base of the wall, just past her outstretched glove.
Yeah, you can see these Valley outfielders right now playing fairly deep against Davidson and now Leilua. So,
and the wind's blowing out too
it is
right now.
Yeah, small balls like that, you've just got to find the wall and get under the ball in time.
Davidson just got her team leading 32nd RBI as Leilua steps in. No one out. Bulldogs have drawn first blood here against Valley, leading 1-0 in the first. That was the third double of the year for Davidson. Her 30th hit total. Brought home Heimberger, who scored her 13th run of the season. 2 balls and no strikes. Make it 3 balls and no strikes to Fa Leilua. Leilua, a 5'9" junior right-hander, transferred from Arizona State. She draws the walk. So walk, double, walk, and inauspicious beginning for Alejandra Salazar in the circle.
Yeah, right now, Valley really needs an infield ground ball to possibly turn a double play or tag a bag to get out of this inning.
Pitch misses to Carter Spexarth. An RBI chance here for Spexarth. Sophomore right-hander getting a start in right field this afternoon and batting cleanup. Coming in hitting .250. Fastball from Salazar misses. So Heimberger drew a walk. Davidson got a double and an RBI. Leilua drew a walk. And now the middle of the order, Spexarth, O'Neill, Robertson, and Montana Davidson step up for Mississippi State as Salazar fires a strike in on Spexarth. The bottom 3 in the order today for the Bulldogs, Chloe Mala'ulu, Kinsey Gales, and Candace Dennis. Just missing downstairs is Salazar with a drop ball. And the count is 3-1. So a bit of a different lineup here for game 1 of the weekend for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, we saw a different lineup in their midweek earlier this game against UT Martin. So
grounder to third, force play at the bag at third, and Arroyo gets there in time before Mia Davidson, and Valley gets a big first out, a forced out of the lead runner. There are still 2 on, but now 1 gone in the home half of the first.
Yeah, in that situation right there, there's probably nowhere else you don't want to hit it besides the third baseman.
Spexarth ideally was trying to get something to the outfield, but you're right. If you're going to keep it on the infield, the last thing you wanted to do was pull that over towards third, and got to give credit to Salazar for forcing that routine grounder. A big first out there for Valley, perhaps a confidence builder for Salazar. O'Neill Robertson steps in and takes an off-speed pitch at the knees for a strike. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, great job by Mississippi State getting runners on early in this game, putting some pressure on this Valley defense early in this game.
We know that over the years, Van Studeman has had a philosophy of hers to run whenever possible. And we haven't seen it a ton, at least not in the home games that you and I have broadcast this year. But if Heimberger's on and there's less than 2 outs, Heimberger is almost certainly going to be running. And we saw that as soon as she drew that leadoff walk, and then it leads to an easy run being scored almost instantaneously.
Yeah, Mississippi State definitely known to push the envelope when it comes to base running, run very aggressively.
at the waist, called for a strike. And like you said, Morgan, it's almost like you're daring the opposing defense to make a play.
Absolutely, especially, like I said early in the game, putting that pressure on the defense, never a bad thing to do early in the game.
A full count to Robertson, the youngster from Birmingham, Alabama. She takes the pitch off the outside corner. Ball 4, third walk issued by Salazar in this inning, and the Bulldogs have bases loaded as Mckenna Davidson will step up.
Salazar really struggling to find the strike zone and get ahead on these Bulldog hitters.
That is now 27 walks issued in 14 2/3 innings by Salazar. That has been her biggest issue so far this season. Has issued more walks than hits allowed. Outside, and now time is called. Valley trying to prevent the Bulldogs from opening up the ball game here in their first at bat. Davidson, a redshirt sophomore from Hillsborough, North Carolina. The older sister by only a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
The older sister of Mia Davidson. Did not play last year due to injury, but has been essentially an everyday player so far this redshirt sophomore season.
Yeah, she's worked really hard. She had her injury and wasn't really playing much her freshman year, but she worked really hard and has started every game this year at third base. So someone who put in the work during the offseason and now is getting rewarded for some hard work, and she's doing pretty good over there at third base.
One of only 4 Bulldogs to start every single game this year. Fastball right down the middle. Count is now 2 balls and a strike. Leilua at third, Spenksarth at second, Robertson at first. Mckenna Davidson at the plate. Bulldogs already on top 1-0. Less than 2 outs. And Morgan, what do you always say? Lots of ways to score that run from third with less than 2 outs.
Yep, plenty of ways to get that RBI.
Off-speed pitch, pulled foul. Bulldog assistant Tyler Bratton flashing the barehanded grab over there in the third base coach's box.
Yep.
Davidson hitting .226 on the year. As you mentioned, Morgan has been a really good defensive third baseman so far this year. That was a position of concern, I think, coming into the year. And so far, Davidson has equipped herself well at that position. There's a ball lifted fairly deep into left, but right to Terronez. Deep enough, though, to score Leilua. So Leilua will tag and score, and both Davidson sisters have now driven in a run, and the Bulldogs are on top 2-0. And that'll be RBI number 7 on the year for Mckenna Davidson. And now there are 2 gone, with Spenksarth at second and Robertson still at first. Chloe Malauulu will step in, just her second start of the season. Ball gets away from the catcher, and that will allow both runners to advance as Unga just could not sky up high enough to grab that one. That'll probably be, I would imagine, be ruled a wild pitch. We'll see how they score it.
Yeah, another moment where we've seen Mississippi State still with a lot of runners on right now with 2 outs, so a pass ball is something that you really don't, or a wild pitch is something you really can't let happen with a lot of base runners out there.
So Spenksarth and Robertson now both in scoring position. And that will be officially scored a wild pitch. Alou from Long Beach, California. Pitch comes in at the waist and catches the corner for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to count.
So far this year, we've really seen Alou in a lot of a defensive relief role. She'll go in to play the outfield, usually mid-game, sometimes a pinch runner. So good for her getting her opportunity right now in the box.
Made 1 start earlier this year. Was 0 for 3 in that ball game. So still looking for her first hit of her collegiate career. She draws the walk. First base was open, and Alou takes it. 4th walk issued this half inning. A quality at bat for the true freshman from Long Beach, California. And the Bulldogs once again have the bases juiced as Kenzie Gales will step up. Two runs have scored on just 1 hit. 1 hit and 4 walks drawn by Mississippi State here in the home half of the first. They're on top 2-0 over Mississippi Valley State. And Gales, the shortstop, has the bat in her hands, takes the pitch high. 2 balls and no strikes. Salazar in the circle. Unga behind the plate. Smith at first. Peterson at second. Gage at short. Arroyo at third. Pitch misses again. There's nowhere for Salazar to put Gales. Bases are loaded. The count is 3-0.
Good job by Gales. Seeing some pitches, watching them out of the zone.
And that pitch misses down and in. That'll walk in a run. And the Bulldogs are on top now 3-0. Give Kenzie Gales an RBI as she draws a bases-loaded walk. And the state hitters, Morgan, continue to be very patient and very selective at the plate.
Yeah, and sometimes that's hard to do, especially with bases loaded. Sometimes you tend to get really big up there, swing at anything, just trying to hit a bomb or something, but great job by Gales seeing some pitches and taking her walk.
That is the second RBI on the year for Gales as she's making her 12th start of the season. .26 official at-bats and just got her second RBI. A quality 2-out at-bat as Candace Dennis, trying to help her own cause, steps in. You mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Morgan, Dennis, just as valuable perhaps as a hitter as she is in the circle.
Yeah, Dennis batting .350 on the year. 7 hits, not doing bad at all. She takes advantage of her opportunities when she's in the box. She has been leaning more on her small ball game a lot lately. She'll come in and do a soft slap.
Hard hit ball, that'll get through for a base hit. That'll score 1, maybe 2. The throw is cut off, so yes, 2-run score. A 2-out RBI single for the number 9 hitter, Candace Dennis, and the Bulldogs are in control early on top 5-0. And you had just mentioned, Morgan, the approach of Dennis. She really has become one of those hitters. And listen, it's not a shocker because she is pound for pound one of the best athletes
definitely
on the team.
Yeah.
No surprise that she has developed now in her second full year in Starkville as one of those hitters that can sort of do a little bit of everything, sort of that Jane of all trades, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few hitters on Mississippi State's roster who kind of have that triple threat ability. But Dennis is someone who, like I said, has been using the small ball a lot recently. She's been placing down those soft slaps, but right there we saw her just hit a nice little simple hard ground ball through the infield to get a couple RBIs, and sometimes that's all it takes.
And those are the first 2 RBI of the year for Candace Dennis. 8th hit and her first 2 runs driven in this season, and it forces a pitching change for Valley as Alejandra Salazar will take a seat. The runners on base, though, right now at the corners, Dennis at first and Gales at third, are still her responsibility. But as of right now, she has surrendered 5 runs on 2 base hits and issued 4 walks. Actually, 5 walks. So 5 walks, 2 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned. And her afternoon, at least for the moment, is over as Valley will send in number 1, Daisy Page, a 6-foot freshman from Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow.
It's a long ways, folks, from Anchorage, Alaska to Itta-Bena, Mississippi.
It is a long way.
Runner takes off. Second base is open. Runner at third. Not sure if the catcher, Unga, was going to throw that ball anyway. Probably not. So easily, Dennis will take her base, and there are now 2 on in scoring position as that ball was thrown in there for a strike to Emily Heimberger, the 10th batter of the inning from Mississippi State. Foul tip straight back for strike 2. This is the 8th appearance of the year for Page, her 3rd in relief. She's made 5 starts previous, an 0-4 record. That's a wasted 0-2 pitch. Heimberger does not take the bait. The count is now 1-2. Coach Smith and the Devilettes hoping Page can just get out of the inning for the time being. Pitch is high, the count evens up.
Yeah, Page coming in a little bit of a tough spot for Valley. Like you said, just really looking to get an out right here and give Valley another chance offensively.
I gave you the starting infield for Valley a few minutes ago. The starting outfield is Terrones in left, Davis in center, and Dunn in right for head coach Lee Smith. There's a ball up the middle, drops in for a base hit. That'll score 2 more runs. Heimberger has a couple of runs driven in, and the Bulldogs are in complete control, leading now 7-0.
Great job by Heimberger welcoming the new pitcher for Valley. Seeing some pitches.
That's now 4 consecutive runs scored after the second out. Actually, 5 runs scored after the second out had been recorded. And here comes Mia Davidson batting for the second time this inning. The Bulldogs off to a fantastic start offensively. Runner takes off, throw down, will not be in time. Second stolen base of the inning for Emily Heimberger. So Heimberger has now drawn a walk, stolen 2 bases, recorded a single, scored a run, and has driven in 2 runs in 1 inning.
That's not a bad start right there.
It's a pretty good stat line.
Yep.
For a ball game, much less for 1 inning.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs have greeted Valley rather rudely here in this first inning.
Yeah, coming out, swinging the bat, also seeing some pitches, taking their walks.
That ball from Page got in the dirt. Unga couldn't dig it out of there, and Heimberger alertly took off for third base. Davidson, last time she was up, hit a double to the wall in left center field and drove in a run. The first run scored today by the Bulldogs. Walk is issued, and Davidson will take her free walk to first base. And the Bulldogs once again have runners at the corners as this home half of the first continues. And Alou now steps back up. And Valley right now is simply trying to stop the bleeding. Pitches at the knees for a strike. Leilua now hitting over 360 on the year. Drew a walk and scored a run earlier this inning. Came in and scored on the sac fly off the bat of, I believe, Mckenna Davidson.
Yeah, I think so.
It's been so long ago.
We've seen a few batters this inning.
On our automatic scorebook over here, there's a recap of the inning. It's rather lengthy. Leilua smokes one into right field, and that'll drive in a run. Heimberger scores. Mia Davidson goes from first to third. Leilua has an RBI, and the Bulldogs are on top 8-0 here in the first.
That was a great ball right there by Leilua, waiting for it to get in deep and hitting a hard line drive to the right side of the field.
That now gives Leilua 31 RBIs as she and Davidson continue their RBI battle. Davidson now with 32 RBI, and Leilua still one behind her at 31.
Yeah, those two have been a real fun duo to watch so far this season. It's just always fun when one of them come up to bat. You never know what's going to happen.
And they clearly complement each other so well.
Absolutely.
And are helping each other because one bats right after the other. Spenksarth hits one to short. Got to throw it in a hurry, and stumbling but regaining her composure is Gage. And she throws the ball to first base in time to end the inning, but not before. State scores 8 runs on only 4 hits in the first inning. Your score after one is Mississippi State 8, Mississippi Valley State 0. We'll go to the top of the second inning, where Unga, Gage, and Afoatua, the 5 through 7 hitters, will step up for the Devilettes. An 8-run first inning has propelled Mississippi State to an early, commanding lead. A lot of softball, though, left to be played in this one. To the top of the second inning we go with The 5-hole hitter, Unga, the catcher, leading things off for Valley, facing Candace Dennis, who normally you would say had to sit there and try to stay loose and warm, but because she swung a bat and ran the bases, don't have to worry as much about that as she heads back to the circle.
Yeah, I'm sure she's still nice and warm after her at bat and, like you said, running around the bases last inning.
Speaking of warm, we got temps almost at 70 degrees today.
I know. It's a little different than it's been the past few games here.
I'll take it.
I will take it, too.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jewel Unga, a right-handed hitter, a 400 hitter on the year. We mentioned earlier, it's just purely numbers-wise, Valley has a good offensive club, but they have found themselves far too often in games like this where they early are down big.
Yeah, not bad offensively at all. A lot of 300, 400 batting averages, extra base hits, but like you said, the circle and the defensive errors and the walks really are what causes Valley to struggle.
Dennis gets a swing and a miss for her first strikeout and sends Unga back to the Valley dugout as the shortstop Dejanay Gage now steps in. Gage, a veteran, a senior right-handed hitter. Yet another one of those Valley hitters having a good season, a .303 average.
Yeah, Gage also tied for leading the team with hits with 10. A senior.
Out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Coach Smith done a good job of mining for talent all over the place.
All over the place is right.
Got players from Las Vegas, from Alaska. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Dennis. Gage goes down swinging. No one on and 2 gone for a Fuatua. A Fuatua from Beaverton, Oregon. So we got the Pacific Northwest covered. We got the Four Corners area of Nevada, Arizona, and Utah, Colorado. That area is covered. Got Alaska covered. Do we have any Hawaiians?
I don't think
so.
No.
Okay.
A lot of California girls as well.
Yes. Well, that's
not uncommon.
A necessity. It's an unwritten rule. In Division I softball, must have at least one California native on the roster. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. 2 balls and a strike on Jodeci Afuatua, the junior right-handed hitter. Of course, a town in Oregon would be called Beaverton.
Yep.
I would imagine you wouldn't find very many other Beavertons in other states, but in Oregon, it's very fitting. Fastball waist high for a strike. Count is full. Dennis issued 1 walk last inning. That's been the only base runner so far for Valley. Pop up, that will drift into the seats. And we'll do it again. The count remains 3-2. The schedule had called for a couple of games tomorrow, but those have been scratched because of the threat of not just rain, but thunderstorms. Dennis will issue a walk and a nice at-bat for Afua Tua as she will become the second Devilette to reach base. 1 on and 2 gone now for the 8-hole hitter Peterson.
Yeah, that at-bat, we saw Dennis throw a few balls in the dirt, maybe trying to work on a couple pitches that she's not used to throwing.
Swing and a miss, strike 1 to Peterson.
Yeah, Dennis is going to go to that rise ball right there a lot. The rise ball and her changeup are 2 of her stronger pitches.
And if you're correct, Morgan, that perhaps Dennis trying out a few things, a game like this is where you would do that or can maybe get away with that. An early big lead. Try to work on a few things that you know you're going to need to be good at as the year goes on and do it in live game action.
Absolutely.
Peterson starting at second base today for Valley. Swing and a miss. And that'll be out number 3. The new Bulldog catcher, Jackie Mckenna, threw down to first base. Didn't need to. It was out number 3. I'm not sure anybody on the field knew that it was out number 3.
Yeah,
exactly.
A little bit of a miscommunication, or I don't know.
Or didn't know it was strike 3. Either way, it was. And Dennis strikes out the side. In the inning for Valley, no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on. We've played an inning and a half. Your score, the Bulldogs 8, the Devilettes 0. O'Neal Robertson leads off the bottom of the second for Mississippi State. Bulldogs on top 8-0. First pitch, trying to check a swing, was Robertson, but she went around. Strike 1. It'll be Robertson, followed by Montana Davidson, then Malu'ulu. The 5 through 7 hitters for the Bulldogs. Off-speed pitch, fouled back, third base side for strike 2. 0-2 the count now on Robertson, who only has 13 at-bats on the year. This is just her 5th start of the season, 10th game in which she's played. This is game number 21 on the year for Mississippi State. Pitch is wasted high and outside. Count moves to a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Robertson only with 1 hit on the season, so especially in moments like this, you have a nice lead, no one on base, a moment where you can just really focus on getting a nice solid base hit, relaxed up there, and just
again,
have some fun.
Yeah, ball wasted again, high and outside. I know the state coaching staff would love to see the youngster out of Birmingham right here, sort of break out of the slump. They feel like she can be a key cog in the middle or bottom half of the order for this offense going forward.
Yeah, definitely a strong power hitter.
Called strike 3. Beautiful pitch. Robertson wasn't quite sure if she should pull the trigger or not. And it gets called for strike number 3. Nicely done by Daisy Page to record the first out of the inning.
Yeah, great job by Page coming back after that bit of a rocky first inning for Valley with a strikeout.
Montana Davidson, first pitch, pops it up, shallow center field. Davis makes the grab, and there are 2 gone quickly. And you're right, so far Valley bouncing back in the circle and defensively nicely after a really tough first inning. Chloe Malauulu now steps back in there. Drew a walk and scored a run her first time up last inning. Still, though, looking for that first hit of not just the season, but of her collegiate career.
Yeah, we saw a few of those this past week. Some first collegiate hits, always a fun time.
At the knees for a strike. 1-1 to Malauulu. With Gales in the on-deck circle if Malauulu can reach. Off speed high. Ball rolls away momentarily from the catcher, Unga. The Bulldogs and Devilettes here in this ball game. We have another ball game coming up for you later on tonight as Mississippi State takes on a really good Louisiana Tech team, which is projected to be one of, if not the best team in Conference USA this season. That'll be a nice matchup in the nightcap tonight. Fastball. Malauulu hits it on the ground towards second. Peterson gloves and throws across in time. 4-3. The out is recorded. 1-2-3. Valley retires. Mississippi State. Our score remains 8-0 after 2 innings here in Starkville. Laney Terronez leads off the top of the third here in Starkville. 8-0 our score, with Mississippi State leading Mississippi Valley State. Terronez, a slap hitter, tries to go the opposite way and fouls it off left side for strike one. The 9-hole hitter Terronez, followed by the top of the order, Dunn and Davis, and then Smith, the number 3 hitter, if anyone reaches. That's what's due up this half inning. Grounder to short, quick throw across the diamond, and Gales gets it over to Robertson at first base in time, 6-3, and out number 1 is recorded here in the third. Got a couple of Bulldog changes, don't we, Morgan?
Yep. Yeah. Mckenna now catching. She was catching last inning too, and now Lindsey Williams in for Heimberger at second base.
Ball in the dirt from Dennis. State still has Robertson at first, Gales at short, Montana, Davison at third, Leilua in left, Malauulu in center, and Gregg in right field. So Heimberger no longer out in the field, and neither is Spexarth, correct?
Correct.
And like you said, some of those changes were actually made last inning, and we just never got around to relaying that to you, our audience. Top of the order, Kalen Dunn, the left-handed hitting junior, a slapper, will bring the defense in, both on the dirt and in the outfield for Mississippi State. She's 0 for 1 so far today. Grounded out in the first. Hits a little chopper right to the first baseman. Robertson will glove it and touch the bag for out number 2.
Couple of quick outs right there for Mississippi State.
That is just what the doctor ordered for a team that's up big already, like State is. Pitch misses off the outside corner. Ball 1. Jalen Davis, the right-handed hitting freshman, as Morgan mentioned earlier in the broadcast, .429 average on the year. Drew a walk her first time up, pops it up on the infield this time up, and Dennis makes the play herself as she comes in from the circle. A quick 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. No one left on. Through 2.5, your score remains Bulldogs 8, Devilettes 0. It's really dry, probably.
Here's some barbecue sauce.
Oh, there you go. Kenzie Gales leads off the bottom of the third here in Starkville. Mississippi State on top 8-0 over one of their in-state foes, the Devilettes of Mississippi Valley State. Gales, followed by Dennis, and then the top of the order, Williams, who is now playing in place of Heimberger, due up in this half inning for the Bulldogs. Off-speed pitch as Daisy Page is back in the circle. I thought Page, after coming on, as you said, Morgan, in a really tight spot there in the first, allowed a 2-out base hit, a few more runs scored, then got Valley out of that inning, and then I thought pitched really well last inning.
Yeah, absolutely. She probably got a little bit more comfortable after the first inning. She did, yeah, like you said, she did really good that second inning, having a quick inning right there for Valley.
Couple of defensive changes for Valley this half inning. Number 28, Wilburn, is now catching in place of Unga. And Bishop, number 8, is now playing in right field in place of Dunn. So Bishop in for Dunn in right field, Wilburn in for Unga at the catcher position, and Gales just drew a walk to lead off the inning. So a quality at bat, leadoff walk issued. Bulldogs have one on and no one out for Candace Dennis. Dennis 1 for 1 with a run scored and 2 runs driven in as part of that 8-run Bulldog first inning. Ball gets away from the catcher Wilburn, and that'll be more than likely a wild pitch, and that will allow Gales to reach second base safely. That looked like a ball that Wilburn could have handled. But the way that usually gets scored is a wild pitch, and that's exactly what just happened there. A wild pitch charge to Page, and Coach Smith is not going to waste any more time. He's going to make a pitching change. The third different Valley pitcher will make a trek in from the bullpen area. And we'll see who it is. Page allowed just 1 earned run on a couple of base hits. Walked 2, struck out 1. Gales at second base is her responsibility. Number 3, Andrea Elmore, a junior right-hander from Clawson, Michigan, will now step into the circle for Valley.
Elmore only 9.1 innings pitched so far this year. You know, we've seen Elmore with 9 innings pitched, Salazar with 14.1 coming into today, and Page also with 14 coming into today. But we haven't seen Alyssa Montez, who has 36.1 innings pitched for Valley. So probably an ace pitching the most this year hasn't come in this game.
I would imagine we're going to see Montez at some point on the weekend pitch to Mississippi State. Off speed from Elmore as she makes only her 4th appearance of the entire season, all in relief. But has actually some of the better numbers on the year than anybody else on the staff, just a smaller sample size. Pop up off the bat of Dennis, shallow, and the shortstop will range out to the edge of the grass and make that grab. That's Gage for out number 1.
Dennis hitting it out there near her dad in center field, who made the drive all the way from Texas to come see his daughter this weekend. Mr. Ron Dennis out there.
He probably enjoys making the drive in March from Texas to Starkville as opposed from Texas to, what, Amherst?
Yeah.
Massachusetts?
Yeah.
when she played at UMass?
I'd have to agree with that.
Always nice to be able to get a start in the circle as well as in the batting order when your parents are in town to watch you play.
Definitely.
Lindsey Williams at the plate for the very first time, a replacement. Heimberger got the start at second base and in the leadoff role. Now Williams takes over for her, and she takes a strike from Elmore. So far, Elmore on the year has not factored into a decision, has an ERA of 9.64. In 9 2/3 innings, has given up 9 hits, 10 earned runs, has walked 13, and has only struck out 2. And she hits Williams with a pitch. And Lindsey Williams gets a trip down to first base, earns one the hard way there, getting a hit by pitch.
Yeah. Great job, though, having a nice quality at bat, extending the inning.
That'll make Tyler Bratton happy. What does he always say? We don't move, right?
We don't move, yeah. He doesn't move either over there. So doesn't matter how hard the ball's coming to him, he's going to hold his ground in the third base coaching box.
He practices what he preaches.
Absolutely.
8-0 Dogs on top. 2 runners on base right now. Gales at second. Williams after the hit by a pitch on at first for Mia Davidson, who is 1 for 1 with an RBI, a walk, and a double so far today. Has the batting average now up to .545 on the year. The on-base percentage is at .649. High fly ball, deep to left, back at the wall, and gone. 3-run home run for Mia Davidson. And the Bulldogs are on top now by a score of 11-0. A moonshot off the bat of Mia Davidson.
Yeah, that was a bomb for sure. Her 13th home run of the year. She's continuing to show that she is not going to give in to that, some would say, sophomore slump at all.
At least not yet.
Not yet. She's up there. She looks relaxed. She looks confident at all times when she's playing. So
got a hold of an off-speed pitch, and that got underneath it, but still able to muscle that one over the wall. Clears the bases, gives her now 4 runs driven in today, and stays on top now 11-0 as Leilua steps up. Leilua has now fallen 3 homers behind Mia Davidson in their home run race here in the first half of the season. A combined 23 homers between them to go along with a combined 65 runs driven in.
Yeah,
through 21 ball games.
Yeah. They play a big role in the runs batted in area for sure.
That is mind-boggling numbers. Leilua gets a hold of one, hits it deep, and gone! Back-to-back jacks for Davidson and Leilua. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Leilua. Her 11th dinger of the season, and the Dogs are on top now 12-0.
Another great ball right there by Leilua, following her fellow teammate Mia Davidson.
You just can't make any mistake pitches to them.
You can't. They will take advantage of any, especially belt high strike. Yeah. But Leilua, earlier in the season, she was hitting a lot of low balls out for home runs. So, I mean, pretty much any pitch that they can get their barrel on is probably going to go a far way.
12-0 Dogs on top as Jackie Mckenna, who was inserted at catcher in place of Davidson, who was moved to the DP spot a couple of innings ago, now steps up with a bat in her hands for the first time today. Mckenna, yet another one of those Bulldogs freshmen looking for their first hit of their collegiate careers. On the year, Mckenna only 2 official at-bats. She's 0 for 2. Has the count even at a ball and a strike. Freshman from Parkland, Florida, pops it up on the infield, near third base, and Arroyo calls forward and makes the catch for the out. Out number 2, and Mckenna still looking for that elusive first collegiate hit. Bases are empty for Mississippi State as O'Neal Robertson steps in. And the Bulldogs have scored 12 runs on just 6 hits.
Yeah, taking advantage of all their base runners, whether they come from hits or walks or hit by pitches.
With runners on in scoring position today, the Bulldogs have been really good at the plate. Speaking of really good off-speed pitch there from Elmore. The last 3 runs scored by State charged to Elmore. The first run this half inning charged to Page, if you're scoring at home. Robertson 0 for 1 today, but did draw a walk and score a run back in that 8-run first inning. Swing and a miss, and that'll be a strikeout for Elmore, her first strikeout of the ball game, and it gets Valley out of the inning. But State gets back-to-back homers from Mia Davidson and Fa Leilua, and they score 4 runs on 2 base hits to increase their lead to 12-0 over Mississippi Valley State. DeShante Smith leads off the top of the 4th for Mississippi Valley State. The Devilettes down by 12 runs, trying to dig themselves out of this hole. They've been handcuffed so far through 3 innings by Candace Dennis, who is back in the circle for Mississippi State. The count evens up, 1 ball, 1 strike on Smith. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters, Smith, Arroyo, and Wilburn, are due up. We haven't seen Wilburn at the plate yet today. She's due up to come to the plate this half inning. Swing and a miss, strike 2 on Smith. Smith today 0 for 1. She lined out. That was a good, hard ball that she hit. A good swing, but lined it right to the then Bulldog second baseman Heimberger for an out, her first time up back in the first.
Yeah, it was a very good, well-hit ball. Just unfortunately right to Emily Heimberger at second base.
2-2 the count. Swing and a miss. Dennis gets the strikeout. Went down low that time and got the strikeout swinging. And that'll be now her 4th strikeout. She's issued a couple of walks, but now has recorded 4 strikeouts. And is pitching really well through 3 1/3 innings. It brings up the cleanup hitting freshman Arroyo, the third baseman. And she looks at strike 1.
Yeah, right here, getting into the later innings, Valley really should look to just continue to have some nice quality at bats, see some pitches, get some base runners.
How important is it to get, as you just said, to get some quality at bats, to have some good things happen to you, knowing that you've got 3 more ball games to play here on the weekend, including 1 more ball game against this same MSU team?
Yeah, definitely. Just to have the mindset of not going away, especially when you're down a lot or even up a lot, not going away physically or mentally, continuing to see pitches, and like I said, have the quality at bats, whether that be a walk, a hit by pitch, a solid barrel hit that is caught like we saw earlier. Just the little things like that.
2-2 the count to Jade Arroyo. Called strike 3. Candace Dennis right now in a groove. The last 5 outs recorded have all been via strikeout.
Yeah, Dennis definitely comfortable and confident out there, throwing some good pitches, moving pitches through the zone.
Lacey Wilburn now will pick up a bat for the very first time. A defensive replacement at catcher. Wilburn, a junior from Boerne, Texas. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Boerne, Texas.
I think.
Boerne?
I really am not sure.
I'm going to say Boerne. How about that? A junior, right-handed hitter. Takes a pitch high and outside. The count goes to 2 balls and a strike. And I don't think she has any. Just 3. Yeah, just 3 official at-bats on the entire season. And no hits in those at-bats. Has not earned her way on base yet this year. Swings and misses at that offering from Dennis, and the count is now even at 2-2. With 2 gone and no one on base. And Valley now down to their final 4 outs. Swing and a miss. Dennis gets 3 strikeouts yet again. Strikes out the side, this time in order, and sits Valley down. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. 12-0 is our score, with the Bulldogs on top and in control as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Home half of the fourth inning here in Starkville. The home team, the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, in control 12-0 over Mississippi Valley State. Van Studeman, the Bulldogs head coach, now getting a few new faces involved in the ball game as Brooke Cantillo will pinch hit and lead off the inning. The left-handed bat from California. Freshman steps in. Only has one official at-bat on the year, but got a base hit in that at-bat. We saw that at-bat in the midweek victory the Bulldogs had back on Tuesday night. So Cantillo, for the moment, batting 1,000.
Yep.
1 for 1, also has driven in a couple of runs, has scored a run. Off-speed pitch, lots of movement there. Cantillo chases, swings, and misses, and strikes out. Nicely done by Andrea Elmore. Some late movement there on that rise ball.
Yeah, a lot of spin on that pitch right there.
So Cantillo goes down swinging. That'll be strikeout number 2 for Elmore, who has now gone an inning and a third in relief for Valley. Third different Devilettes pitcher used. And that will bring to the plate now for Mississippi State, Taylor Kelly. Kelly batting in the number 7 position in place of Chloe Malauulu. Right-handed hitter, Kelly, in 6 at-bats on the year, has 2 base hits. 2 for 6 with no runs scored or driven in. Has struck out 3 times, has not been walked. All 2 hits of hers on the year have been singles to this point. So an opportunity here for Van Studeman to get some players who have not played a lot this year some playing time. And listen, your odds are at some point during the season, you're going to have your name called to come up in a big moment as a pinch hitter. And it's good to get some experience in these type of situations earlier in the year.
Yeah, absolutely. A pinch hitter role is usually not the easiest role to have, but it's something that you really just have to go up there and not put too much pressure on yourself. I was in that role at the early stages of my career at State, and, you know, there's no point in just putting unneeded pressure on yourself. Just go up there and have fun.
Ball hit deep into the 6th hole, and Kelly beats the throw from Gage, and that'll be an infield single for Taylor Kelly, her 3rd hit of the season. A quality at-bat for Kelly.
Yeah, nice hard hit right there for Kelly. Getting a hit and running hard down the line to get herself safe.
And now it looks as if the Bulldogs will use a pinch runner, or will they simply just reinsert Malauulu? That's what will happen. Malauulu gets put back in for Kelly to run at first base. And Kelly gets a high five from Van Studeman and her teammates. And now Kayla Bozeman will now pick up a bat. Bozeman was the winning pitcher for the Bulldogs in their midweek victory on Tuesday night. That was her first collegiate start in the circle. And now she gets to pick up a bat, I believe, for the first time.
Yep, her first at bat in the maroon and white. So a nice week for her, getting some nice firsts. Her first pitching debut, her first win, now her first at bat.
The Bulldogs, in the case of Dennis and Bozeman, that's 2 players who can be, as the year goes on, effective two-way players.
Absolutely. It's definitely good to be able to be effective in the box and on the mound.
Bozeman, a versatile athlete from Chattanooga, Tennessee, was just lights out the other night in State's victory on Tuesday night. Complete game performance, got the win. State picked up a 9-1 victory, run rule victory in 6 innings.
Yeah, Bozeman did great in the circle that game, but also she has a lot of power in the box.
Just got a piece of that one to stay alive. A good pitch from Elmore. I know coming out of high school, there was some thought that maybe Bozeman could be just as effective, if not more effective, at the plate than in the circle. Pops that one up and out of play to stay alive. The count remains 2-2.
Yeah, definitely a strong power hitter in high school, along with being a pitcher, but definitely someone who can bring some depth to this lineup. I see her parents in the stands right now videotaping on their phone her first collegiate at bat.
I'm glad they're here. It's a big moment. I don't know if they were here on Tuesday or not, but
yeah, I don't.
They could watch it at least.
Yeah, they could.
She's fighting right here against Elmore. Has fouled off now a couple of pitches. Count remains 2-2. Off speed, and that is laced a fair ball into the corner of left field. Rounding third is Alou. She will score an RBI double in the first plate appearance ever for Kayla Bozeman.
I mean, that was a missile. I said she had some power, and I mean, she can just, I mean, she swings and the ball flies off her bat. And she hit that one really hard down the third base line.
And the Bulldogs will now put in at second base to run Gales. So Gales gets reinserted for Bozeman to run at second base. Bozeman gets congratulated by her teammates as she gets her first ever collegiate base hit, an extra base hit, and an RBI. The Bulldogs on top now 13-0 in the fourth as Candace Dennis will step back up to the plate, signifying, as we all expected, that she will be back in the circle for, more than likely, back in the circle for her 5th inning of work later on. Pitch misses, ball 1. Valley, meanwhile, they're going to be down to their final 3 outs when they step up to the plate in the top of the 5th. If they try to avoid being run ruled, they got to score 6 runs at least to avoid being run ruled in the next at bat. As they trail 13-0, they are due to have up the 6 through 8 hitters, Gage, Afuatua, and Peterson. Hard hit ball. Dennis gives one a ride deep to right field into the parking lot. See you later. Dennis, helping her own cause, hits a 2-run blast, and the Dogs are on top now 15-0.
Dennis with her first career home run. And it was a bomb, that's for sure.
And she gets mobbed by her teammates after she steps on home plate. The first homer for Dennis in the maroon and white of Mississippi State. And the Dogs increase their commanding lead. As the top of the order, 22, Lindsey Williams now steps in, and still just 1 out here in the home half of the 4th inning.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier Dennis just being such a good athlete. I mean, she is so strong. Really excels in the weight room. So no surprise that was going to be coming at some point this season.
She got a hold of one, and that was a no-doubter. Pulled one to right field. The wind is blowing out, but that did not need any help from the wind.
Nope, and her dad here to see it. That's a fun time for
Really
sure.
cool. A ball and no strikes on Lindsey Williams. Was hit by a pitch her last time up. That happened last inning. Was hit by a pitch and scored as part of that 4-run third inning for Mississippi State. Williams hits one hard but pulls it foul.
Yeah, I've talked about a couple times Mississippi State's ability to score a lot early in the game or in the later innings of the game, but this game we've seen them score every inning but one so far, so definitely something, a positive to take out of this game for State in that aspect.
8 runs in the first, 4 in the third, and 3 more already here in the fourth. Williams check swing, flares one out to right, diving and making the grab in right field is Bishop. Heck of a play by Bishop on a ball that I thought was going to die and drop in for a bloop single.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of in that Bermuda Triangle over there behind first base and second base. That was a great effort and a great catch right there by Bishop.
Robs Williams of a base hit. 2 gone in the bottom of the fourth. And that will send up Sarai New, who has been, for the most part, State's starting first baseman this year, but did not play in State's victory over UT Martin on Tuesday, and has not played in the ball game yet until right now, being used as a pinch hitter. A senior out of San Diego, California, hitting just under 300 on the season. Has perhaps the best let me reword that. Has perhaps the most patient plate approach of anybody on State's team. When you look at the number of times she draws walks, gets hit by a pitch, the length of her at-bats.
Yeah, definitely patient hitter is a great way to describe Sarai New.
An on-base percentage of .413. Takes one off the outside corner. Count is 2 balls and a strike. New has 15 hits, 5 RBIs, 6 runs scored, has been walked 9 times, has only struck out 5 times. Takes a pitch, this time on the outside corner. Boy, Elmore has been working the outside corner on Sarai New and finally found it, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. In the dirt, dug out of there by the catcher Wilburn.
Yeah, Sarai New second in hit by pitch in her career, holds the second place at Mississippi State with 38 times getting hit by pitch.
Swing and a miss, a rare strikeout of Sarai New. Elmore gets out of the inning, but State still scores 3 more runs on 3 hits. No errors. Dogs on top by 15 as Valley is down to its final 3 outs as we go to the 5th inning. The shortstop, Dejanay Gage, leads off the 5th inning for Mississippi Valley State. First pitch popped up into left field. Seegers, the new left fielder, has a little bit of a trouble with it, but makes the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, that was a really high hit ball. But great job by Seegers. Making the out, you know, sometimes it doesn't have to be pretty as long as you get the out.
It all counts the same. And that'll bring up Afuatua, the number 7 hitter for Valley. Dennis in the circle for State, 4 1/3. No runs allowed, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. Has done a really nice job in the circle. Pitch misses downstairs. Count is going to be at 2 balls and no strikes on Afuatua. Has been struggling offensively this year. Hits one into the gap, the first hit of the ball game for Valley. That breaks up the no-hitter. Boy, Dennis was flirting with one, wasn't she?
She sure was. Yeah, she's done a great job today. I know she's probably a little upset about that, but
I mean, she was 2 outs away from having a no-hitter and a ball game where she hits a 2-run bomb.
Yep. Yeah, still a great job, though, today by Dennis.
Afuatua gets a hit that I'm sure she hopes will break her out of her slump. Valley will pinch run for her. They'll send in 26, Brianna Alston from Rockland, California, a freshman, to run at first base. So Alston will run. Valley needs a lot of base runners and a lot of hits to avoid being run ruled here in the 5th inning. Pitch drops in there nicely for a strike. Peterson facing a 1-1 count now. She's 0 for 1 today on the year, hitting only 176 for Valley. Drop ball, snap throw to first, not in time. Back to the bag is Alston. 2 balls and a strike on Peterson, who has 3 hits on the year, has scored 3 times, and driven in 3 runs.
Good job by Mckenna right there. There's been a couple of pitches in the dirt. She's blocked them up pretty good.
The Bulldogs still have the same defensive formation they've had now for the last couple of innings. Just below the waist, in there for a strike. Count is full. So Dennis now 4 1/3 innings thrown, 1 hit, no runs allowed so far. The no-hitter's gone, but still a shutout is in the works as that ball is drifting foul and drops into foul territory left side, and will do it again. The count remains full as Peterson battles Dennis. An 8-run first inning allowed the Bulldogs to take control of this one. And they have not looked back, now leading 15-0. Off-speed pitch, swing and a miss, snap throw, not in time. Strikeout recorded. Strikeout number 7 for Candace Dennis, who is now a strike away, or an out away rather, from picking up a complete game shutout victory.
Great job by Dennis coming right back after the hit, getting the strikeout.
The 9-hole hitter for Valley steps in, Turonis. The left-handed hitting freshman Bounces one towards Williams. Toss to first in time. Out is recorded. Inning is over. Ball game is over as Mississippi State run rules Mississippi Valley State in 5 innings, 15-0. And Morgan, from the very first inning, just complete domination today for MSU.
Absolutely. Offensively and in the circle by Candace Dennis, giving up only 1 hit right there. 7 strikeouts on the day, so great job by her. And then a few home runs by Leilua Davidson and Candace Dennis getting her first career home run, which was fun. And then a lot of other execution, Mississippi State manufacturing a lot of other runs, so great job.
Dennis gets the win in the circle. The Bulldogs as a team improve to 16-5 on the year. Valley drops to 2-14. For Morgan Bell, I'm Anthony Craven. Thank you for tuning in to this broadcast of SEC Softball here on ESPN.